Nigeria, 2026 don't reach you. I decided to make this video in December so that we're not going to say we know here or we forget some of it. The new tax law, when they come in January 2026. There are a lot of reforms when they come with the new tax law. These reforms, they say they focus on expanding the tax nets. So they won't put more people into the tax capturing, protecting the low-income earners. They say supporting small businesses, improving compliance and transparency, and finally, increasing non-oil revenue, and it's from informal sector. But we'll go discuss some of the package, then we'll go to our own view. The personal income tax, which is the PIT. Now, who will pay this one? They are referring to employees, the self-employed persons, professionals, traders, and freelancers. The key features of this new tax program. Now, we talk about the progressive tax system, the pay-in. I said income is taxed in bands, and the bands ranges from 7% to 24%. So 7% is the lowest, and 24% is the highest. So anybody weighing, depending on your tax, depending on how much weight they make, you go fall in between the two areas. Now let's look at the consolidated allowance as they claim it to be. See, before tax is calculated, you get some relief. There is 200,000 naira or 1% of your gross income, whichever is higher. So 1% of which you earn, or 200,000, is exempted. Plus your 20% of your gross income. I said this one, now to protect the low-income earners. Okay? The minimum wage protection, workers earning around the minimum wage effectively pay little or no what? Personal income tax. Low-income workers are shaded. Middle and high-income earners contribute more. Now let's talk about the company's income tax. Companies are categorized into different groups, or we can call them sizes, or some call it their annual turnover. The tax rates. The small companies are those who earn 25 million and less. Those ones pay 0% in taxes. Those who earn between 25 million and 100 million pay 20% of their annual of their revenue. The large companies are those who make over 100 million. They pay 30%. The key goal of these taxes is to encourage startups and also to encourage small and medium enterprise. It's not to reduce pressure on small businesses. Also to ensure big corporations pay a fair share of the taxes. The value-added tax, the VAT, still stays at 7.5%. But some items now are exempted from the VAT. They claim to have expanded it, but now they have to reinforce it. Some of the items exempted now are things like the basic food items, the medical services and pharmaceuticals, educational services, the rent to a certain amount, I think it's 500,000 naira, public transportation. The rent is for residential though, not commercial one. Now, the VAT collection The VAT collection are mostly for businesses. Something we must know, that VAT when business collects is not your personal money, it's not for personally, it's not business income. It must be remitted monthly to what? The government. Make we no go make mistake, go make some up with our own income, what would they make? Now, this new 2025 Tax Act, they've now included what? The digital economy and online businesses. The government is saying that they are seriously taxing the digital economy. Who are those affected? The online stores. The crypto traders and the platforms. The app developers. The digital advertisers. The foreign digital companies earning from Nigeria. Now let's look at some of the significant economic presence. The significant economic presence rule. Even foreign companies can be taxed if they earn from Nigeria digitally. So online income is taxable, not exempted. So for those of us when they make money from crypto, make we know say now, banks go start to report them. Also, the withholding tax, what it is. This is the advanced tax deducted at source on rent, on professional fees, on contracts, on dividends, on interest. Again, rent, professional fees, contracts, dividends, interest. The common rates are 5% to 10% depending on the transaction. Withholding tax is not extra tax on businesses. It is credited against your final tax liability. The capital gain tax. The capital gain tax stays at 10% on gains from asset disposal. This applies to your sale of land, for those of them they buy and sell land. Your sale of shares with exemptions. Your sale of business assets. Note that some share disposals below certain threshold are exempt to encourage investment. Stamp duties. What is taxed in the stamp duty? Your bank transfers, agreements, the legal documents, your keynotes. The keynotes there are the bank transfers, the agreement, the legal documents. It still remains at 50 naira stamp duty on eligible words. The electronic transfers. Now, the tax administration reforms. Like we said before, they've started taxing the what? All online transactions. But the government now is trying to make sure that they improve on the collection through e-filing, e-receipts, and bank-linked compliance tracking. What is important as a December before January we enter is that we must try and get our tax identification number. So we'll go use them for bank accounts, contracts, government services. I said now, government is now focusing on compliance over punishment, but enforcement is trickier. The tax incentives and reliefs pioneer status incentive, like they call it the PSI. The tax holidays for qualifying industries. Who are those industries? the agricultural sector, the manufacturing sector, technology, and renewable energy. Capital allowance on plants and machinery. R&D incentives. What the 2025 tax laws are trying to achieve. One, they want to reduce dependency on oil. They claim they are to protect the poor, bring informal sector into tax net, support the small and medium enterprise, tax wet, not survivor, modernize Nigerian tax system. So make we know, for those of us who in the main markets, now they're going to tax us for what we buy and sell. And make we not get this understanding that small businesses not supposed to pay tax. Everybody supposed to pay tax, even where your tax payment na zero. Your online income is taxable now. Your VAT is not your money. Now money will belong to government. So we must try to remit them every month. I know that some of us need to do business. When they collect VAT, we need to remit them. But this time, they say we need to remit them every month. But there's some important thing we must do this December. Try to get your TIN, or your tax identification number, before it's too late. File returns, even if tax payable is zero. If your tax you go pay now zero, you must still file a return. Separate your business income from your personal income. Keep records, your bank statement, your invoices. Use a tax professional when in doubt. Now let's focus on some of the side effects of some of these things, the tax law. We know how Nigerian be. If they are taxing the Nigerian people without trust, it will be a structural problem from beginning. In theory, yes, taxation works on a social contract where citizens pay their taxes and government will deliver services. They get that trust. There is that relationship between government and the citizens. In Nigeria, we also be say our roads are not repairable. The power supply, now we dey pray for that one. Our insecurity and kidnapping is getting worse every day. Our healthcare and educational system are completely underfunded. What do we expect? Now make we add the citizens to they pay more for taxes without visible accountability. This one, it feels like economic punishment, not civil duty. The government cannot expand its taxation in a broken trust environment and expect compliance. People don't comply with them. Corruption makes tax reform look hypocritical. We don't ask the poor to pay, the rich to eat them. The reality, billions lost yearly through oil theft, we know that. To bunkery. The inflated contracts where they give politicians. The ghost workers, what would they give account of? The customs and port leakages. Politicians live extravagantly. The anti-corruption prosecution are selective if you're not a member of APC. This is just purely contradiction. Government demands discipline from the poor. Why elites enjoy impunity? Or like they go say, APC, they enjoy impunity. Tax reform without elite accountability, my brother and sister, is morally weak and politically dishonesty. Unemployment makes broad-based taxation cruel. Nigerian job crisis. The youth unemployment remains very, very high. Many survive on informal work, the one they want start to tax. Daily hustle when they want start to tax, and digital gigs. Yet, informal sector is increasingly targeted. Digital earnings are taxed. Small traders face compliance burden, not from political talks yet. Oh. The problem that the government will really face is taxing survivor income deepens poverty. We are trying to tax people when they barely hustle. Will they increase the poverty in the system? We all know, say, a country with mass unemployment should tax wage and rent seeking first, not desperation. If they tax all the hustle when people they hustle, if they push them out of hustling. We all know, say, insecurity undermines the logic of tax collection, because protection is part of the government's responsibility. We all know, say, farmers don't abandon farms. Businesses close due to kidnapping and electricity problem and bad roads. Transport costs, they skyrocket every day. Insurance is unreliable. There are some questions. So, what exactly are citizens paying for if the state cannot protect lives and property? Security is the first public good. Without it, taxation loses what? Legitimacy. I'm not criticizing God, I'm just saying in my mind. Now let's talk about the Naira value. Hidden tax on the poor. Devaluation is a hidden tax on the poor. We all know that. The Naira collapse means salaries buy less. Inflation erodes savings. Imported goods become unaffordable. Even if tax rates don't increase, the rate tax burden is already skyrocketing. Maintaining a tax pressure during currency collapse is effectively double taxation. Because the Naira no get value. So what the government want tax into? Now let's talk about the government own parts, the revenue leakages. We know that in the north, the stones they get there doesn't come to the government pocket. The government often say Nigeria has a low tax to GDP ratio. But something they fail to understand is there's a large leakages of revenue, both from the bunkering and untaxed, unearned income from the stones. What about the customs that declare little or nothing? What about the AU revenue that people don't talk about? What about the failing state-owned enterprises? Let's talk about the truth. Nigeria doesn't just have a revenue problem. It has a leakage problem. Can the government fix these leakages before squeezing the citizens more? The citizens are already facing a lot of burden with inflation and everything. The informal sector is trapped. We must try to bring everyone into the tax net. The reality, the informal sector exists because of what? No jobs, no credit, no infrastructure, no social net for anybody, or except for the rich and politicians. Taxing the informal sector without formalizing the opportunity is what? regressive. You cannot tax people into what? Prosperity. Nigeria, this new tax law is taxing us into deeper poverty. I don't care how the government tried to sugarcane it. Well, the moral economic argument, they say tax is a contribution to collective good. Yeah, that's true. But what happens in Nigeria? Taxes is a contribution to what? Inefficiency. The government cannot be efficient and we're still paying tax on it. The citizen, we all see the convoys. We all see the luxury allowances they pay to politicians. The overseas medical trips that the government officials, the politicians, their family takes. The tax burden is socially unequal. Even if legally equal, no balance. Well, to the government might say that the government needs money to function. Yes. What happens to the oil revenue that we are getting? The one you didn't give account of. That the oil revenue is falling. We understand. What happens to the stones in the north? To the minerals in the north? They have to service the debt. True. Money will not see you. These points are all valid. However, revenue necessity does not erase governance what? Failure. To add to what we are saying, we're not criticizing the government, we're just saying our minds how it looks like. Nigeria 2025 tax laws are economically, digitally immoral. The government must try to include its constitutional words, trust, the functional system, visible services delivery. But currently in Nigeria, corruption erodes everything. The poverty is at the highest level. Unemployment is increasing every day. And taxation without transparency is negative taxation. The better question that the government should ask, or we should ask, is who should be taxed first and for what results? A more just tax part should be aggressively tax luxury things, luxury consumption, recover stolen public funds, not forgiving them, block oil and custom leakages, cut government waste, publish transparent tax spending dashboard, tie tax collection to visible local projects, give account of the mineral being explored in the northern part of Nigeria. Our final thoughts. Criticizing the tax laws is not anti-government. Let's make it very clear. It is pro-accountability. A state that demands sacrifice must first earn moral authority. Thank you.